All right, welcome to our GoLinks webinar. Get ready to break free from the monotony and discover how GoLinks can revolutionize your daily work. Our Salesloft experts will discuss how to become a GoLinks ninja, increasing your productivity and driving revenue growth. You'll hear real-life examples of successful GoLinks use cases and specific role-based insights. Plus, discover the value teams are getting from GoLinks and how you can too. We're not just here to talk at you though. We want to hear from you too. We encourage you to participate in the moderated Q&A, ask our speakers questions about how to use GoLinks to optimize your daily work, share your own experiences with GoLinks, and discuss the benefits for other go-to-market teams. Let's have some fun and learn from each other. Are you ready to rock your world with GoLinks? Let's do this. We'll start with introductions, followed by a discussion on how GoLinks can benefit go-to-market teams. Finally, we'll have a Q&A session with our panel of experts. So we're just waiting on Keith to join us. So we'll go ahead and kick it off to you, Laura.
Hi, everyone. Emily, just a quick update. Keith is trying to join. I don't know if there's some tech support to help him get on. He is definitely here. He's just having some trouble joining the stage. But hi, everyone. My name is Laura Meister, and I am a Salesloft Senior Manager at Enterprise Revenue Enablement. I'm a former enterprise seller turned enabler, and the good kind of enabler. I sold in the large enterprise space for LinkedIn here in the Midwest, and now here at Salesloft, I have the privilege of partnering with our expanding enterprise team as we hone our sales processes, evangelize our value prop, and the value Salesloft brings to all of our customers.
Hey everyone, my name is Brian Cronin. I'm an enterprise account executive over at GoLinks. So I'm an IC. But have been using GoLinks obviously every single day throughout my career here, and it's been absolutely instrumental in my success and also furthering my own kind of career development. So excited to spread the gospel that is GoLinks.
Okay, so I'm looking on the back end here now just to see about what we can do for Keith to get him just kind of uploaded and added back into the chat or added back onto our live stage. So I am just going to kind of remove him as a guest speaker, and I'm going to add him again really quick. So saving those updates now, we're going to see if we can get Keith to join. Keith, you should be able to join the stage. You should see a little button kind of over in the corner that says join stage. So let us know if you see that or not. And if not, I can do a little bit more support on the back end. But we'll go ahead and kick it off to Brian's section to fill us in a little bit more about GoLinks for go-to-market teams.
Instead of exit stage left, more like entrance stage bottom center, I think is where it's located. But yeah, super excited to chat. Thanks for the intro, Emily. And hey there, GTM teams. It's your favorite AE, Brian. Hopefully it's your favorite. I think I've won over Laura and Keith. But I'm here to talk about the magical world of GoLinks. So buckle up, because we're about to go on a journey. Maybe it's a jaunt that will change the way you think about GoLinks or links in URLs forever. So what are GoLinks, you ask? Well, imagine if every company resource could be found instantly with one keyword. That's right. With GoLinks, you can automate the burden of searching endlessly for information. So whether it's your sales deck, your pricing sheets, case studies, objection handlers, GoLinks will ensure that sellers remain hunters and not gatherers. But let's talk about specifics, shall we? As a sales professional, I use GoLinks every day to prepare for my meetings and manage my pipe. I can quickly pull up insights from my prospect, add persona-based discovery questions, and even get a quick refresher on my playbook. And I do this by simply typing in go/pitch deck. For IT persona, I'm going to type in go/IT persona. And for playbooks, you guessed it, I'm going to type in go/playbook. It's simple and it's intuitive. But when I get a prospect that tells me, hey, Brian, I don't believe you. Can you show me a client testimonial? I'm going to type in go/testimonial. And boom, everything I need is at my fingertips. So look, here's the deal. As sellers, we're always looking for ways to optimize time management. We're at the end of the month. And in April, we only had 20 selling days. And in a world where every software purchase is being scrutinized, every hour of every day is magnified. The speed and intuitiveness of GoLinks have been a game changer for me. I can easily access resources, save time, increase productivity. And for new hires, GoLinks has been a lifesaver. It's streamlined our onboarding and training process. They don't have to waste time searching through disparate software silos or incessantly slacking. Hey, team, where can I find fill in the blank? Instead, they're able to use those short keywords to focus on revenue generating activities and reduce their ramp time. Now, I know some of you had some burning questions about how to implement GoLinks into your own process or into your company's GTM strategy. And we've got just the panel to answer those questions. So without further ado, let's dive into our moderated Q&A with our speakers. Emily, over to you.
Awesome. And thank you so much. And we finally got Keith here. So I'm going to go ahead, hand it over to Keith really quick, do a quick intro, and then we'll kick it off with some Q&A.
Sure. Yeah. I like to be suspenseful when I show up to things. So, yeah, but hey, everybody, my name's Keith Cordiero. I'm the Regional Vice President of North American Commercial Sales here at Salesloft. Absolutely love GoLinks and the time savings that it's offered my team. So excited to be here, a little late, but still excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, I mean, you didn't miss out on too much. Brian gave a little overview about GoLinks for go-to-market teams. So really excited to get kicked off into some Q&A. And we have a few questions that came in before the webinar. So we'll go ahead and get started on those as we wait for the chat to become active, the questions to become active. So we'll go ahead and start off with pretty much kind of a loaded question here, but what benefits have you seen since implementing GoLinks at Salesloft?
I think the biggest one, of course, is time savings. But when we think about it as, the teams are saving time. They're getting to the information they need more quickly. As the enablement team, or as part of the enablement team, we also have the advantage to help people find this stuff more quickly. We have done a lot of go-to-market launches in the past 18 months since I've been here. And GoLinks helps us get the people to the right information at the right time. And it makes it much smoother in those GTM launches.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that. I mean, for leading a team of sellers, the most important thing for me is how can I make sure I'm empowering my team to move as quickly and efficiently as possible. And, when we're inundated with limitless amounts of technology, it can be challenging at times. And so for us, GoLinks has just changed the way that we pull content, change the way that we access various pieces, whether that be during a conversation with a prospect, team meetings, training sessions, enablement, like whatever it is. The fact that we can go right there and save some time has been critical for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of like tearing into that, do you really feel like there's been any like specific problems or pain points that GoLinks has helped solve for your team other than like just that quick ease of access?
I know for us, I mean, it's that problem alone is huge, right? Just having more time in your day, right, to either prospect or to navigate through deals and opportunities has been critical. I mean, we were running an evaluation, and Laura, keep me honest here. One of the AEs, like kind of the one that spearheaded this whole project here, shout out to Paul. We've shown that he saved, was it like 31 hours in the last 5 months just by using GoLinks?
4 days. He saved 4 days.
Right. Wow. So, I mean, that's 4 days that he could be, prospecting. Those are 4 days that he could be spending, navigating through opportunities, talking with his champions, making sure customers are good. I mean, that right there is invaluable.
And I like to think about it, we have a lot of different systems, right? We use Seismic for Seismic's one of our sales engagement platforms, sales enablement platforms. But we have a huge toolbox. We've got Salesforce. We got our own tool, Salesloft. We have lots of things that people are using. And with GoLinks, it's never like, where do I find that and which place is that located on? It's just go/pricing, and they're going to have the tools that they need. So I think it simplifies a rep's workflow, not unlike Salesloft. But yeah.
Plug. Yeah, it's Google for sales, right? Instead of like typing it in and searching around, like, or asking somebody else, we can just go directly to GoLinks, and it brings us everything and anything we possibly need.
I know, Brian, probably you use like 1 million GoLinks in your day-to-day. So
I do.
He's already sent me 3 in the DM since
I said I'm going to make
That's how I actually got on. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to make a GoLink to access this meeting afterwards. And yeah, it's an invaluable part of my day for accessing information and climbing the leaderboard, right? End of quarter push. I need all the help I can get.
Yeah, true. I know you touched on this a little bit more about, kind of that time saving measurable benefit, but have you noticed any like cost savings or any other measurable benefits from GoLinks being implemented at Salesloft?
Not yet, but I'm sure if I dig a little bit, it's there, right? I mean, time is money. So at the end of the day, if we're saving time, then I can argue that we are saving money.
Yeah. Awesome. So that kind of cues into another question that we have here. But what advice do you have for other organizations that are looking to implement GoLinks?
Well, this is where my bossy big sister persona can like kick in here. There's, I think, a lot of things. I think that the first thing is to definitely do it because it's going to make life a lot easier. But one of the things we did that I think was really helpful is we sat down as an enablement team and mapped out what we think the GoLinks should be. We actually had like a GoLink creation hour with a spreadsheet and like all the different tools, all the different things we thought would make good GoLinks, and created all of them. I'd also say consider like what's the nomenclature you want to use. Like here at Salesloft, we have 2 distinct segments, and they have some of the same playbooks, but some different playbooks. And so like, did we want to call it, Go Enterprise Playbook, Go Commercial Playbook? And just know that you had a nomenclature set up so that when reps start to use your GoLinks, it's very clear to them. I mean, I think a big feature, what I always loved about GoLinks, and I was first exposed to it as a seller at a different company, was all I had to do is like start to type in Go whatever. And if it was close enough, it would come up and I'd be able to find it. So just making sure you're thinking about that nomenclature so it could be used consistently across all the links that you are creating. And also think about, it's not just about sellers, right? Or it's not just about the selling tools they need, but it's also about like access to some other things. Like maybe it's your insurance provider or your, what's the word I'm looking for? Like FSA provider, because these are some of the things people are doing at work. Save them time by going directly to it. And building some of those things for them.
Does anyone in the audience know how to access their W-2 by a show of hands?
Yeah. Or your commission check stubs, like where's Go pay stub? Like show me the money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always the $1 million question. Where's the money?
I think another important part about kind of implementing GoLinks or implementing any technology or any process or any kind of change management is finding early adopters and finding early wins and really showcasing them and highlighting, right? Like that's critical. And again, Paul's been one of those. We have a few folks here, but if you can get, a few folks that are using it, that are excited about it, that can evangelize it for you and advocate for it, for you internally, that's how you start to get that full adoption. And that's when you really start to get some of the true value. So that's critical for us. Yeah.
Awesome. I feel like that kind of ties a little bit into the next question, but, were there any challenges that you faced during the implementation process? And like, how do you feel like you were able to overcome those, or if there were any challenges? That's kind of something that came in that was thought about.
I think looking back, I think one thing we might say we wish we had done differently is maybe figuring out how to get to build that like group of champions or gamify the adoption a little bit more. So we had a quicker ramp to getting people really accustomed to it, to see that time savings and the ease of use. So I think that's something I would think about is, how to gamify it, how to call it out more. We're doing that now, finding people like Paul and calling out the fact that he, has added 4 days to his work, or he's found 4 more days to prospect and sell by using GoLinks. So that's something I think we would go, if we could go back in time, we would.
Yeah, it's also important to note that Paul is one of the top AEs when it comes to prospecting too. So, I mean, again, tying it all back to the relevancy aspect of it is critical key. I didn't have a lot to do with the rollout, honestly. So like for me, it was like, oh, this seems like it rolled out pretty easily. Other than just, kind of getting over that, hey, where do I go for this? GoLinks. So just kind of getting people into the habit. I think was the biggest obstacle. And if that's the biggest obstacle to kind of redirect somewhere, like, beautiful. Like it seemed like a pretty easy lift.
Nice. Can you share any specific examples or just any examples of how GoLinks has improved your sales or marketing performance at Salesloft?
I think it goes back to what I can speak to is some of the go-to-market stuff. We recently launched a new platform pitch, and that involved a lot of steps and a lot of tools. But bottom line, it involves like mastering a new talk track and mastering how you position the value. And now our reps just have to go platform pitch, and they're able to pull up that talk track easily. And I think before it would have been like, where do those slides live again? And of course, like by using the GoLink, it's going to the talk track that's on Seismic, which we keep up to date, versus they've saved an old deck on their desktop and they're using some old messaging that doesn't really resonate any longer. And that's true. Like we've had some other initiatives, and so anytime something new's out, they can get quickly to the talking points they need without having to fumble through searching through any search engines or whatever other navigation there may be.
To circle back to something on, I guess, combining ROI and kind of marketing use cases, I know a lot of our clients will invest, thousands and thousands of dollars into amazing marketing content. Salesloft, you guys are always pushing out great stuff. A lot of companies don't really have a strong process to connect that content to sellers. I know in my last job and as an AE, we had a repository of case studies and things like that, and it was searching for a tech needle in a haystack. So with GoLinks, we're able to kind of automate that process, but also enrich the investments you've already made into content, into documents and things like that.
Awesome. I feel like kind of going on to another, type of question that helps align with kind of the overarching question that was just asked there. But, how do you feel like GoLinks has has helped your team more effectively communicate with customers or prospects? I know, Laura, you kind of did just touch on this about, you've got the talk track that stays updated and you're not having to worry about them going to their desktop, having something that's old and saved and maybe the language isn't right. But do you feel like there's any other ways that GoLinks has helped your team more effectively communicate with customers or prospects?
Well, one thing it's helped me do, and I don't think this is answering the question or the way you want me to, Emily, but I will say one of the things I love about it too is it saves me some slacks. Like this is my personal pet peeve, but when something's documented and the answer's there and but someone comes to you with the question, you'd be like, no, man, go whatever, right? Like go find the documentation here. All the answers to your problems or questions are here. So I think it is an efficiency tool too. It's just all about finding the stuff you need more quickly. I mean, it sounds so simple, but saving time, it means everything.
Yeah.
I always talk about, I think that one common thread for high performing teams, which we consider ourselves to be at Salesloft, is a team that's able to be as effective and efficient in terms of their decisiveness, right? Like how quickly can I get to making a decision at any given point, whether I'm a leader, whether I'm an AE, whether I'm an SDR, right? And how empowered am I to be effective and efficient with that decisiveness? So I think having something like GoLinks, where again, as Laura mentioned, we have the most up-to-date information, whether that be talk track, whether that be a new sales motion, whether that be a new product rollout, objection handling, and this new market that we're trying to figure out, right? Like anything and everything that you can, have access to, right? Having access to that in the most updated version of that, because so many times I've seen AEs. When I was an AE, right, you're using talk tracks that you've saved on a Word document somewhere. You've written it down somewhere. It's maybe 6 months old. It's a year old. Not as effective, not as impactful, but that's your habit. And if you don't know where to go to get the most updated stuff, I mean, come on, Brian, you're not going to go get it, right? Like we all know that, right? We're not going to go out there and search if it's going to be challenging. It's path of least resistance. And so I think it's allowing our team to be as effective and efficient with their decision making that they need at any given point of the day.
That collateral, Keith, is just collecting dust.
Exactly.
I feel like, kind of, and Brian, maybe you can touch to this, as kind of on the internal side as well. But improvements in lead generation or sales conversion rates since implementing GoLinks or just using GoLinks.
Yeah, so I have a personal anecdote that might be relevant here. It's a little embarrassing, so bear with me. But last company that I worked with, we sold HR solutions last door. And my second quarter didn't pan out the way I wanted to. Actually, I was in the bottom third of quarterly attainment. Next quarter starts. I have a meeting with my manager. Hey, Greg Bottom, if you're watching, hope you're crushing it at Lattice. He obviously was super implemental in getting me off the PIP plan. So I was on a PIP plan, was struggling, confidence was low, but I knew there wasn't a huge kind of change in my process that needed to change. Just a few small tweaks. Through some coaching, I was able to get off the PIP plan. But one thing that really helped me was I was able to create a Salesforce report, and I include a bunch of different filters, and it became a very powerful tool to find social proof, right? Salesloft, Keith and Laura, you guys probably have 1 million customers, right? I don't know what your kind of tool is to identify like the perfect social proof for your pitch. For us, we did not have a good process. It was so bad that people started slacking me endlessly. Hey, Brian, can you get me a case study for this university? And I'm pitching at 3:00 p.m. And they all started slacking me. And then 2 years later, I guess the end of that quarter, or end of that fiscal year, I should say, I ended up at AE of the year, got President's Club. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, I never made it to Cabo. So still kind of thinking about that. But in all seriousness, the reason why I'm bringing up this kind of monotonous story is because that report had a tremendous impact in my success, in my conversion, Emily, as you asked, probably 10 to 20% in my win rate. When I left the company, to use that dust term, it's gone. It's disappeared into the ether, right? So if we had GoLinks then, it would have archived that information, archived, Laura, that nomenclature. I probably would have called it Go/secret sauce if I could go back in time. And I don't want to, I would like to think that it would have, continued to increase conversion for reps that would follow. So, maintaining revenue leakage and kind of archiving best practices for top performers is a quick and low-hanging fruit way to increase efficiency.
I love that. I mean, we haven't even honestly been using it for that, to be completely candid with you. And I love that idea, because when you said kind of reaching out, you had people reaching out to you, case study this, case study that. I mean, I'm constantly seeing that from AEs in our Slack groups. Like, hey, I have a call with this kind of company, this kind of organization at 2:00. Does anybody know case study I could use this? So you've already got my wheels spinning, Brian.
And Keith, in this economy, you can't just give them a can like, oh, here's, Microsoft, right? You have to personalize that pitch. You got to find the right company size, the right pain points, the right before and after storytelling, a general kind of like, hey, here's a couple, here's our NASCAR slide. That's a closed loss. That they're not listening, they're disengaged, and they're kind of probably turned off by the fact they're flexing all these massive logos. So the more kind of personal that we can get, the closer we can get to the finish line.
Agreed.
Awesome. Thanks for that insight, Brian. I feel like that's really, really great. We'll go into the next question here, but have you noticed any unexpected benefits from using GoLinks? I feel like this could be personally or, in work.
For me, I'll start with one really quick. I have mild speech dyslexia. So when I'm talking to a prospect who has a very funny, or not funny, name that is hard to pronounce, we have GoLinks that will quickly teach us how to pronounce that person's name. And Keith and Laura, you guys know if you're starting off with the demo and mispronouncing the prospect's name, that's certainly not a good first impression. Nor is showing up late to a webinar. Just kidding.
I was here. I was just on the wrong side of the table.
Yeah, you got the end of your quarter.
Technical difficulties.
Prioritize. You're probably using GoLinks to finish up in the black, I'm sure.
I find this question like kind of hard to answer only because like I was first exposed to GoLinks at the position I left last, the company I left last. And it was like in place the day I started. So as a new hire, it was already there. Like Go training, like all the things I needed as a new hire were super easy to find. And then when I made the transition here to Salesloft about 17 months ago, I came over with some other alumni from that other company. And I think I remember saying like, God, I miss GoLinks. Like I miss GoLinks. It was actually that absence of GoLinks and how it had an impact on my productivity and how I thought about work is really the story I would tell. Like I missed it so much and needed it. And that's why we're here today. We brought it on board.
The no links wound was still fresh.
Yes. And it had a lot of salt in it as I was learning new systems and new processes and just trying new, like at a different company. And I hadn't changed jobs in almost 9 years. So like, it was really difficult.
And to build on that, like the power is so strong. Like you're not alone, Laura. Our like major kind of GTM function as far as lead gen, Emily, as you asked earlier, is reaching out to people that still have that no links wound cut, lacerated into their elbow or hip. And there's not much, it's like, I mentioned personalization earlier. Like when we reach out to these folks, we're doing a little bit of personalization, but the attachment or the stickiness to GoLinks and being able to navigate an onboarding process in a new environment without GoLinks is kind of like a night and day difference.
I like that, the no links wound. I have never been exposed to GoLinks before joining GoLinks. So I'm like, okay, GoLinks really is a way of life, especially for building out a new program. It's like, okay, I've got, all the things that I need just at the touch of my fingertips. Here's kind of an interesting one, but, thinking about like an impact of like culture or morale that GoLinks could have, like, do you feel just from like the ease of use, like the productivity, do you feel like that's helped like positively impact your team's culture?
Yeah, I would say yes. I mean, I think at the end of the day, right, in order to have a strong culture on the team, there needs to be cohesiveness, right, across the board. And especially in a remote world, it's a lot more challenging now to find that cohesiveness, especially prospecting, especially navigating deals. Like things are changing, things are different than they were a quarter ago. They'll probably be different next quarter. And so I think being able to have everybody have the ability to have access to the most up-to-date information, right? Like somewhere at Salesloft, as you can imagine, we have so much stuff, right, that's at our fingertips that can help us in our role, whatever that role may be. But sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, right? Like sometimes too much technology, too much content, especially if you don't know where it is, it can be overwhelming for folks. And, you've got maybe some new folks on the team that don't want to shake the boat. They don't want to ask a silly question sometimes, right? So they kind of just like power through what it is they have always known, which might not be the same and in the new culture that they're in. And so I think just having access to that content and I think it creates more cohesiveness across the team for sure.
I think it allows for more collaboration as well. Like many sales organizations, when we started our fiscal year, speaking at least for the enterprise team, they were tasked with their territory and account planning, and they created some amazing documents that help them understand their book of business and their plan of attack for the year. And the guidance we gave them is use a GoLink for it to share with the cross-functional team you sell with. So to share it with your BDR, to share it with everybody who helps to make your book successful and partners with you on these customers. So, it makes that ease of collaboration a little bit easier than trying to find a spreadsheet in a Google Drive. I personally like it because I think it can also offer some levity. Go/Meister has always been my Zoom link at any organization I've worked at. People call me Meister on the side. And when I left that last organization, I left it pointing to little Easter eggs, so people always remember me. So it can also be sort of fun at the same time.
I like that. I like that. Keith, you talked about like there's so much at your fingertips. I feel like it kind of goes into the next question a little bit, but how has GoLinks integrated with other tools or platforms that you use at SalesLoft, if you have integrated?
I would say seamlessly.
Awesome.
Laura chatted, about it earlier. We use Seismic as kind of our content hub, and it's the integration with that, and all Salesforce, SalesLoft, everything and anything that we need that's important. Yeah, it gets us going. It is kind of now the central hub for all of the various pieces of software and technology that we use.
Awesome. Great. I feel like I'll kind of give us 2 more questions here. And then we'll kind of wrap into a closing. But why do you think that GoLinks are so easily adopted across the go-to-market team and company-wide?
This goes to the point I made earlier, like, especially when you get your nomenclature right, like, how people think in your organization and how they organize information. You're meeting people where they're at. Like, we're all used to Google searches now, right? I have a question, I go to Google. I'm not sure about something, I go to Google. And since this becomes sort of like the Google for your organization, it's what we're used to. And the adoption rate isn't that hard once you understand that like, I'm just able to Google everything in our organization with this one tool. And it just fits into the way we all live our lives right now.
It's like kind of just a funny random, thought. But have you ever had anybody come to you and been like, is there a GoLinks for this? And it's just something that you would have never thought of, or it's just kind of like super obscure, but then you created that GoLink and now it's like one of the ones that's being used a lot.
I think I might have seen a GoLink, and don't quote me on this, but I feel like someone might have even had like Go ESPN, like as if they were checking sports scores, or maybe I'm not a sports person, so maybe I don't know if that's where they would see their fantasy leagues or whatever. But yeah, just to get themselves to where they needed to go a little bit faster. And that's what I love about GoLinks is anybody can create a GoLink. Like I said, I created Go Meister. We have anyone can create them and use them for their teams. So I think the Go ESPN one, if that's what I'm remembering correctly, did make me laugh.
On the topic of sports, I'm based in Las Vegas, and I from time to time do like to go to the sports book and get some action on the game. So I have, hopefully George is not watching this, but I do have a lot of gambling kind of related GoLinks that I use in my personal life, and it does help to me to increase conversion on my bets. But anything that's involving in data and analytics, anytime there's a repository of information, to quickly go back to the transparency question, not to sidebar, Emily, but I know for us, when I think of like culture and engagement, like transparency kind of jumps to mind, and Go/RR for our round robin helps kind of breathe kind of, good morale and make sure there's nothing, nefarious going on the back end. So I know that's one particular example. And I know our culture team, whether we have, an all hands, or and if people want to ask questions to the founder, or, here's our offsite trip and things like that. That's been a great way to maintain a strong, cohesive culture, despite everyone living, miles and states away.
Yeah. I am reminded, I did just see someone did create a Go Chat to go to Chat GPT. So already using that to leverage some of those new AI tools.
How interesting. I feel like that's a whole explosion that you could have another, hours long conversation on.
Twitter search is the new. I sometimes use Twitter for lead gen, and so we have actually a variable link that'll allow us to find specific keywords, or if people are talking about knowledge management or efficiency. We're able to kind of scrape those keywords and kind of start prospecting accordingly.
Interesting. So we'll wrap on this question, but can you provide just some use cases in which you GoLink or use GoLinks, how your team uses them for sales training or onboarding. I feel like we've talked about this a lot already. So, but just maybe touch on personal use cases. That would be great.
I think the biggest one for the sales team, I was kind of, as I was searching for some funny ones, but I think they use it the most for number one, enablement pieces, right? That's critical. Those talk tracks and kind of the new motions, new packaging, any kind of new rollout. But also I'm seeing a lot of like Sales Navigator, Salesforce, Brian, to your point, we have so many different dashboards reporting, even within Salesloft itself, right? And so having just kind of that quick line directly to those pieces, even, for forecasting or, forecasting methodologies and things that we use internally to kind of run our business. Those pieces and just having access to them really quickly is, for the sales team, most important.
I think the enablement use case is to me the best one. I've always defined great enablement as getting the right message in front of the right person at the right time. And until we can actually put microchips in your brain, we have to just make sure that information is easily to find and accessible. And it doesn't matter if you're using a Seismic, if you're on a SharePoint, like any organization has a ton of information, like more information than you know what to do with. And so just being able to point people in the right direction using the GoLinks makes a big difference. We recently launched a new methodology that involves many different toolkits. And so now each toolkit has a GoLink so people can find that quickly. And again, thinking through that with the nomenclature being as simple as possible so it's easy to find. New pricing gets the GoLink. We do a weekly newsletter. That's at a GoLink, so that they know to start every Monday morning at that GoLink.
I've been at GoLinks for 2.5 years. I think we've changed our pitch deck once, maybe bi-weekly. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's not. New people, new processes, new collateral. It's like it's an ever-changing environment. So anything that can simplify and automate that is a win. Right. And I think that's something that most people can resonate with, whether you're a janitor or an AE. Like, simplification and automation is something that I think most people are looking for. And I definitely hear that in when I'm talking to companies and sales leaders or IT leaders, this problem of infobesity, which is a new term I think I read on the New Yorker, or comment chaos and things like that. These are fairly new things. Like, I never heard knowledge management till like 4 or 5 years ago. So these new buzzwords are being created, and now solutions are needed.
Yeah, awesome. I said that was the last question, but then one just kind of popped up in my mind, and it's mainly directed at you, Laura. But you've talked a lot about like the process of kind of getting it together, the nomenclature, getting everybody on board. Thinking about like the process of kind of getting GoLinks in place, getting it to, a spot where you're comfortable, where it's like an easy tool to use for the team. Was that a lot of legwork, do you feel, or kind of like was the process of getting it up and running extremely hefty there?
I wish I could answer that with great authority. I can say I witnessed it. I witnessed it on our team. We have a really awesome project manager, program manager here, Wyatt, who ran that launch and partnered internally with like everyone who was involved, because certainly, security becomes a part of it. And he did a great job. I think, like any company, we're in a changing environment right now, and we're dealing with a lot of change. And so it did, I think, like anything, like we had to keep repeating it. I hope y'all can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I just got an internet issue. Like I said, I think maybe we would have done things differently by having a tiger team to become the acolytes, talking about how great it was. And I think in any enablement thing, repeating it more, talking about it more, getting in front of people more often, and gamifying it. But it wasn't hard, and we were so eager for it. At least me as an enabler, because of my no link wound, as you put it, Brian, is really eager to get it.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for that. And thank you so much to our speakers today for sharing their insights and expertise on GoLinks and how they can benefit go-to-market teams. We hope that you have all gained valuable insights and ideas on how to implement this powerful tool in your organization. Remember, increasing productivity and collaboration and security is key to staying ahead of the game in today's fast-paced business environment. GoLinks is really just one tool that can help your go-to-market team achieve these goals. We encourage you to continue the conversation with your peers and explore how GoLinks can help you drive revenue. Be sure to check out our resources page where you'll find more information about GoLinks, including tutorials, case studies, and best practices. And if you're not already using GoLinks, sign up for a free trial today to see for yourself how they can help your team succeed. Thank you again for joining us today for the webinar, and we hope to see you again soon. And thank you to our panel of experts. Laura, Keith, thank you so much for your time. Brian, thank you for your time. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.